So good morning and welcome back to Margin. This morning, I'm going to talk about the journey that I went through to recognize the need for margin and for helping others to build margin into their own lives. So let's jump right into it. So everyone has someone or something that has inspired them. For me, the something was that experience in Tahoe, experiencing that layoff, experiencing that freedom I felt from exploring the greater Southwest. And yet there's an underlying aspect of the who. And as I look at my life, there's so many people that have had a tremendous impact on my life. But for you in particular, think through those individuals who maybe have been mentors, maybe coaches, maybe a parent, or maybe a spouse, or maybe a friend, somebody who has brought inspiration into your life. So sometimes inspiration comes in the form of seeing what you want, or maybe what you don't want in life. And through that, maybe that is an individual who made that realization for you or made that clear for you. Maybe not. Maybe it was literally something that you had dreamed about and you had wanted from an early age, from a commercial or from a book or from a magazine or, something you saw on the internet. But everyone is inspired by something or someone. So we've all heard these saying that what skills you needed to get you into Egypt will not necessarily get you into the promised land. And although that is a biblical reference, in today's world that we operate in, it is so easy to take the skills that we have acquired for maybe getting out of debt, or maybe it's accomplishing a certain goal in our lives. And it's so easy to take that same skill set that we had and try to apply that to other areas of life. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be successful applying those same skill sets to a different area. So for example, I remember in college, times when I was cramming for a test, or I had an all-nighter for some kind of project I was working on. And those skill sets that I gained in college helped me to become a lot more organized, maybe helped me to learn to look for the right information. And maybe those skill sets helped me to align resources to the information I needed in order to make decisions. But that specific skill set may not be applicable to the real world in other aspects. And so it's important to realize, okay, I have a certain skill set, but that skill set is to be applied in certain aspects, but not every aspect. So another example of this was maybe when you grew up, maybe you had a certain idea of what budgeting looked like. Maybe it was how to handle money in a certain manner that was taught to you by a family member, or maybe by a parent, or maybe by a friend. And that budgeting skill set may be perfect for figuring out how to live within your means, but that may not be the same skill set that you would utilize for getting out of debt. Or maybe it's the same skill set, but it's applied differently for the purposes of budgeting for a vacation or something like that. So this is also applicable to those who've had someone in their lives who've taught them how to budget, how to live within their means. Just having that skill set is pivotal. However, it's not only that skill set that you need in order to be able to build a strategic plan for your finances. So you need to be able to operate within your means, know what your means are, and be able to budget within those means. But that same skill set that's used for building a budget and tracking those expenses is also not going to necessarily be used for the purposes of building wealth. So when I went through the process of getting out of my own personal debt, it was a seemingly impossible task. It was one of those things where I had made a promise to myself and I had not kept it. As Stephen Covey would say, make a promise and keep it. But I didn't do that. It was one of those aspects where it actually took multiple rounds of, I would say, pain and and almost dedication and so on and so forth in order to get to that point where I was really seeing through what I had promised to myself, which was to get out of debt, get 100% out of debt, and therefore opening up options. And for me, it's always come down to options. It's always been one of those aspects where I knew money was a tool, and I knew that tool opened up opportunities, and that those opportunities would prevent me from necessarily having to be stuck in what I think of as the proverbial rat race. And that's what I wanted to prevent in life. So we all know that there are seasons to life. Whether you're a middle schooler going into high school, or you're a high schooler going into college, or maybe you are retiring and going into retirement, there's seasons to life, and the same thing is applied when it comes to personal finance. The aspects of your personal finance change from year to year, and although you may be in one season and because of social norms you're acting like or behaving like you're in a different season, we are all in seasons in the real form. And it's a matter of figuring out what season you are in, what season you're stepping into, and being able to prepare for those seasons accordingly. So it's so easy to become hyper-focused in different seasons of our financial lives, whether that is to focus in on paying off debt like I did, to enable me to have that freedom and have that flexibility and have those options I referred to. But also there's aspects of the seasons of our lives that have to do with our risk tolerance. So within these seasons, there's commonalities when it comes to the offense and defense of wealth building. And your defense may look like you are locking down the hatches, and you are paying off debt, and you're getting on a spending plan, and figuring out, okay, what do I need to do on a daily basis in order to live within my means. But on the offense side, once you get past that stage, you'll be looking more so at, how do I grow my income? What does it look like now that I do have options? Do I want to expand into certain areas? Do I want to take on more risk because I have that flexibility to do so? So no matter what season in life you're in, it's important to know that these aspects that you are mastering, whether it's on the defense side or on the offense side, are creating a compound effect, not only for you and maybe your spouse, but also for your family and generations to come. You are building up habits that then have a compound effect that actually affect many more people than just you. And it's important to be mindful of the decisions you make and the compound effect, positive or negative, that those have. So if this information is helpful to you, please do like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you're reminded of these episodes as they become available, and so that you can build in this routine into your daily routine to build margin over time in your own life.